Hi everyone, I'm Father Carl, your neighbor from the north at St. Giles. I'm glad to be able to say hello to as many of you who will see this today and to tell you how happy I am and excited I am actually to work together with Father Rex to get to know the Ascension community and in the future together to have conversations looking at some of the challenges that we will all face as the Catholic community here in Oak Park. So I'm glad to say hello to you today and look forward to getting to know as many of you as possible. Today I also want to share some thoughts about the readings that we hear in the scriptures. There are so many challenges that the world and our country face. One of the big ones, as we know, is COVID-19. And while COVID has played havoc on our lives, it has also brought out the best in many people. Today News told one such story last month about a woman. Her name is Michelle Brenner, living in Gig Harbor, Washington. She was furloughed from her job and she decided to do grocery shopping for others who were most at risk for the coronavirus. Michelle said she was getting a lot of requests for lasagna, but rather than just buy the material, she decided she would make the lasagna and give it to people, so she posted that offer in her town's Facebook, offering to make it for anyone who wanted it. Within a week, she said she made 60 lasagnas in her very small 10 by 10 kitchen. Michelle said that she used her $1,200 stimulus check to buy ingredients, and she became known as Gig Harbor's Lasagna Lady. And here's how grace works for us. Michelle ended up getting a reputation for making lasagna, and she received $22,000 in donations to help her buy ingredients. She also was given an offer to use one of the local club's more commercial kitchen for her cooking. Now, 3 months later, and 1,200 pans of lasagna later, she spends 8 hours of her day, every day, feeding first responders and others in need. And she said she loves every minute of it. Are you looking for signs of God's presence during this pandemic? Look for stories like this. And how can we miss in them God's presence? In our readings today, Solomon, the wise youth, asks God for wisdom. In our gospel, a person uses treasures to purchase a different treasure. A pearl merchant sells pearls to buy a pearl. These parables of Christ are not about making good business deals. Jesus rather teaches that the kingdom of heaven is as much about an encounter as it is a goal. The faithful experience God's kingdom in the action of our very lives. It takes wisdom to seek wisdom in the same way that it takes a pearl to buy a pearl. And God is present in all of this. St. Paul in the second reading reminds us, "For we who love God, all things work every day for the good." What powerful, beautiful, comforting words. For we who love God, all things every day work together for the good. Friends, we are all in some sense sons and daughters of Solomon when, especially these days on the confusing journey of faith in our lives, we ask God to grant us wisdom to see and a simple trust to believe that in all things, no matter what it is, God is at work. That's a powerful and valuable message for us to remember today. Yet, who among us at times has not wondered about or felt that God might be absent? Jump back with me for a moment about the story I began with, the story of Michelle, Gig Harbor's lasagna lady. When God seems so absent, we only have to look back at the compassion, the sacrifice, and the dedication of individuals those who have found ways to be signs of God's presence in our midst. That presence can take the shape of caring for the dying or making lasagna for those who are hungry and in need. And so, my friends, as we go throughout the rest of the day and as we go into the week ahead, I'd ask you to think about this. How can you, how can I, how can we be those signs of God's presence?